The Communication Complexity of Instant Runoff Voting by Élie de Panafieu, François Durand, and Jérôme Long. Instant runoff voting is a voting rule used in many real-world elections. Let us see how it works on an example. Here we have 12 voters who rank candidates C0 first, then C1, C2, C3, and C4. Similarly, other groups have different preferences. In the first round, each ballot counts as a vote for its top-ranked candidate. In this example, the scores are all close to 1/5 of the votes, but C4 comes last with 11 votes. In IRV, it means that C4 is eliminated. The voters who ranked C4 first now have their vote transferred to their next preferred candidate, and the scores are updated accordingly. In the second round, C3 now has the lowest score and is eliminated. The votes transfer to the next available candidate, and the scores are updated. In the third round, C2 is eliminated in the same way, leading to a final runoff between C0 and C1. At this point, C0 has more than half of the votes and is therefore guaranteed to win. But by convention, we'll iterate until only the winner remains. The communication complexity is defined as the total number of bits sent by the voters. Let's compute it for the natural protocol. First, each voter sends their top candidate. That's log m bits each, so n log m bits in total. The first eliminated candidate has the lowest score, so at most n over m voters need to send a new top. After the second elimination, at most n over m minus 1 voters send a new top, and so on. We recognize the harmonic sum. This gives an asymptotic bound of n times log m squared. On the other hand, any protocol needs at least n log m bits, as shown in a seminal paper by Konitzer and Sandholm in 2005. This gap raises the question, could we have a cheaper protocol, or is the natural one already optimal? To investigate this question, we define a collection of profiles that are very close to a tie. We begin by considering a perfectly symmetric profile P-ini. To simplify the exposition, we assume that the tie-breaking rule first eliminates candidates with higher indices. We mark the successive tops seen during the counting process, which we call the signature of each ranking. Without changing the result, we may replace any ranking with another ranking having the same signature. Since we want to be close to profiles with a different elimination order, we always choose the ranking that favors candidates with high indices as much as possible, and denote the resulting profile as P. The other profiles of our collection are those obtained from P by all the possible permutations of the voters. For example, swapping these two columns, we obtain a new profile of the collection, denoted by Q. Given two profiles of our collection, for example P and Q, we can define mixes that select the ranking of each voter in either one or the other. In this example of mix, C2 is the winner. In the theory of communication complexity, our collection of profiles is called a fooling set. Each profile of the collection, such as P or Q, yields the same winner C0, but for any two profiles of the collection, there exists a mix with a different winner, such as C2 in our example. We then turn to the cardinality of the fooling set. We first derive the exact cardinality using combinatorial techniques. To get its asymptotic behavior, we use Stirling's formula and a Riemann sum integral comparison. The log cardinality grows like n log m squared over 2. A classical result in the theory of communication complexity then implies that no protocol for instant runoff voting can be cheaper than this. Combining this with the upper bound given by the natural protocol, we obtain the main result of the paper. The communication complexity of IRV is exactly of order n log m squared. In other words, the natural protocol is asymptotically optimal. In the paper, we derive the communication complexity in more settings: IRV in a single-peaked model, IRV average, a variant of IRV that simultaneously eliminates all candidates with a below-average score, and the single transferable vote, a multi-winner variant of IRV,